Hello and welcome to Knowledge by Nature. In today's video, I thought I would show you an update of my homeschool cart because we are almost exclusively homeschooling from this cart right now. And then I have a closet that the excess goes in. So I've already redone it, and this pile over here is things that I took out. And so I'll just kind of briefly show you what I've done here. Now this is just a 3-row cart that I purchased from Amazon quite a few years ago. And like I said, we're using this almost exclusively every day for homeschooling. Everything just kind of lives in here, and I'm trying to make it work the best that I can. Today I actually moved some of the shelving here. So you see that there's 3, and I spaced them out just a little bit better to hopefully fit our needs. Now, it makes sense that my most used should be on the top, which is easily accessible and I don't have to like move much. So what I did here, and I have our IEW binder here, which sometimes will go upstairs, sometimes it'll be down here. When I say upstairs, it's where we're doing our lessons at with the computer. And I'm flipping it backwards because it helps me to fit things in a little bit better. So I have our Fix It Grammar student and teacher book right here. We have our word roots, spelling connections, which recently we haven't used as much because it's not connecting as well as I want it to with All About Spelling. So I don't know, I may end up omitting this for 4th grade, but we have our All About Spelling in here. We have our flashcard series that we're doing for Bible, cursive handwriting here, and our 4th grade notebook that we are pulling for every single day. So you can almost say this is like my language arts section right here. And then in the middle is all of our little mini writables. Let me give you an overhead view here. So something else that we use every single day, I feel like, are all of our little Jack and Link mini writables. And so we have like little tractors. Oh, I need to clean these up. That's a mess. These are chalk paint, and so if they get wet, they get a little bit messy. So anyway, all of our mini writables are in here, along with some of our larger mini writables, and then the little chalk pens that we almost always use with those. Then in the back is my little mild liners that I use all the time, and Post-it notes that I use all the time. So all of those are just in this clear storage bin right here. Oh dear, I'm gonna have everything go in here, but they're just in there, and it helps keep everything kind of in its place, as you see, so that as I'm pulling things out for the day, everything doesn't just come crashing down. But this is things that we gravitate towards multiple times, so I like it to be on that first row there. All right, scooching back out and looking at this other section here, I have my textbook, workbook, and teacher's guide for our Dimensions math. I have my School Nest lesson planner, which usually is just going to be sitting on the table all day long as we work through it. And so that was another reason I really needed this in here to kind of keep everything from just collapsing on itself all of the time. This little pink notebook right here is like all of the little extra printables and things that I have ready for the week, and maybe a few that are a little bit further out. This actually used to be our writing binder, but now that we have IEW and it comes in its own, I think I'm actually going to be taking this over to become my binder that holds excess things like this, and maybe even some like history pocket stuff. I'm thinking I'm gonna start using that just to kind of give myself a little bit more space with that. Now let's go down here to the second shelf. All right, in the second shelf are things that we use on a weekly basis, but it's not something that I'm going to be using every single day. So for instance, I have my home instructor's guide for Dimensions. Right now I'm just kind of doing a comparison on both of those, so I'm wanting to use them and see how I like it. I have our test book, which really wouldn't have to be in here, but I do have it in there. I may end up pulling this out actually. Right now we were working with a little bit of like conversion with time, and so I have our little clock felt manipulative out right there. This is another little activity book that has fractions and decimals. We're going to be hitting decimals pretty soon, so I wanted to leave this in my cart so that I remember to use it when I get to that section. And you can see I kind of have like with like right now because here's my math stuff, and then you'll see Then I have a couple of Bible resources right here. I have my All About Homophones, which some days I use, sometimes I don't, because I'm noticing they're getting hit a little bit more like in All About Spelling and in Fix It Grammar. So I don't know for sure how much I'm going to use this. Then we move over here to our geography, where I have our 50 states. Our 50 states workbook, and I did go ahead and leave this one in here because this is our lesson review, and I do like to pull that out once a week and just kind of verbally quiz her on the things that we were talking about on the state. Then we're coming to our history section, where again, you see everything's just kind of lumped together. This is a little folder that has like our completed history projects in it, as well as just a few extra little sheets for things for history. We have our Learning American History Through Literature, our little resource from Usborne Books of Living Long Ago that we look through occasionally. Then our little like spine for history, which is If You Lived in Colonial Times, our Colonial America History Pocket, and then our America's Story Reader, as well as our History Timeline Notebook. Then we move over here to our science section, which has our first encyclopedia for our space, our little My Solar Fact book that we're doing with my School of Smiths. This is a really fun activity book that she's doing every day to go along with the planet that we're talking about. We have the Magic School Bus Lost in Solar System that we are like reading every day to go with that planet. We're only reading like the 1 page a day. A paint by sticker book with outer space. And then I have just a few little space readers that we may or may not get to during this section. Once we're done with the space section, all of this will come out and the new space unit will go in there. And then I have our little dictionary down here, which really I would prefer to be up here with the language arts, but it just doesn't fit super great, and it's fine right there. Let's go to the very bottom tray now. All right, in the very, very bottom section, I actually just have another one of these clear containers. You can see I'm only utilizing 2 of the spaces here. This was being stored in our homeschool closet, but I got to noticing that we were going and looking for it every day. And so there was something that was occurring in one of our subjects that we needed a colored pencil or a crayon or something for. So that's where this whole thing kind of started at, is I needed space for this, which meant all of that had to go. And again, I reworked this because I did have the middle section as like the shorter, and that just didn't work very effectively. I do have our pop-up here that we use for multiplication. We don't use it often, but we use it enough that I want to see it and remember that I have it, and by having it here, I do that. Again, we have 2 little wrap-ups, not something that we're going to use every single day, but by having them in here, it reminds me to use them. And just a few games that we've been using as like quick little games in between different subjects to break up the day, and they're just very small and they fit perfectly in here. Up next is my awesome map that I love. It is actually like a quilted 50 states, and it's amazing, and we love it for when we are doing geography. So because it is very soft and blanket-like, it just rolls up really nicely, and I put it right there, and we just like to reference the map like that. The only other thing that I have in here is the little eraser, and this is nice for our mini writables, or even when I'm using like my big Jack and Link board or just our dry erase board. I just have that right there. Most of the time the markers aren't in here. We have to go get them, but it's because we use them throughout the house a lot. Now, as far as everything that I pulled out of this cart, so you see how full it is, and that was all just to like replace this. So I went through here and I just pulled out the things that we're not we're not using often, or we're not going to be using right now, so they can just go away for the moment. So 77 memory verses, we're not using this right now because we're using that flashcard curriculum, and so we're doing that more versus this. But I don't want to get rid of it, so I'm just going to put it away in the closet for right now. Then we are really not using this very much right now. We're getting our vocabulary through Fix-It Grammar, through IEW, and through different things. When we're reading, I'm pulling out different vocabulary and we're talking about it, things like that. So I just don't know that this is super necessary right now. A couple of manipulatives that we have been using that we aren't using right now. So we have been using fractions. We're kind of done with the fractions right now. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in my manipulative tub so that they're out of the cart for a while. Again, another manipulative that we were just using for a while that is not necessary right now. So they'll go back in the tub until I'm using them on a daily basis, and then they'll come back into the cart. This was just the rest of my liquid chalk markers. So these are great for the Jack and Links that we use. There's different sizes. This is like a 6-pack, so they come with big ones and small ones, and that's what we use. These are just extras that I don't need the rest of them on my cart. I have the 2 different sizes that I like to use in the top shelf there. Another thing that we're just not using very much right now, but that I am going to be using later, so I'm just going to file it away. We're going to be reading, so I don't want to file this completely away yet because we're going to be reading The Sign of the Beaver, and I also thought it would be interesting to hit the poetry unit. So the poetry unit I'm probably going to use over the summer. The Sign of the Beaver we're going to be using pretty soon. So I wanted to leave this kind of in my sight so that I would remember to use it. So I'm just going to do that, but I'm going to keep it again in the other room, but like up towards the top, so I remember to pull that out when I start reading that book. This was on the cart. I don't need this. It's the answer key and the literature guide. If I need to go reference anything about any of the books, I can just go pull it out of the shelf. Another one that I had like wishful thinking that I would get to use this. If you've been watching my planning videos lately, you know that I am streamlining things and we're only doing necessary. This could be something that would be great over the summer, but it doesn't need to pick up any space in my cart right now. The Writing Revolution, again, I don't need this in my homeschool cart. I need this like on my bookshelf and I can pull it out and read it when I need it or want it. Same thing with our reading journal. I don't need this in the cart. Yes, we use it, but it's not every day and it's sometimes not even every week. It's when she finishes a book, we add it to the reading journal. So it's only her independent reading. So again, I'll just put this on her bookshelf and then when the time comes, it's over there and not taking up space. Another thing that we were using for a little bit, I kind of bring it in, I bring it out. Well, now that we've got IEW, I don't really even need this at all anymore. I think I'm just going to get rid of that. Reading Voyages, this is like a big book I picked up over for the beginning of 4th grade. I thought we would like read it or have her read it a lot. We're not. We don't use this, and it's a big, chunky book. So I actually think I'm going to take this upstairs, and there's just so many stories in it that these would be great bedtime stories. So I think it's a good way to use this book, and whether I read it or she reads it, whatever it is, it's just a good way to use the book, but one, get it out of the bookshelf and out of the cart. So that's what I'm going to do. This is going to go up for our bedtime stories. And the last thing is, I don't know why this is in here. I guess I was probably using it a long time ago because a few of the sounds would have went with what we were doing for All About Spelling. But I certainly don't need it now. I don't think that this is going to be any part of what we're doing at the moment. So I'm probably just going to get rid of this because, again, it's like level 2. Get all these things put away to their rightful place, which opens up so much more space for the homeschool cart. So we keep all of this kind of over here behind the corner of the kitchen table. It's not super like annoying or anything because it's just back there in the corner, and really most of the time all you can see is this very, very small top shelf here. So that just keeps us all nice and organized, and by keeping everything like with like, it's really easy to find everything I need. So as long as I just put it back where it goes, and I'm usually pretty good to do that. So I think it should stay looking pretty nice for a while, and I need to probably like evaluate this every 3 to 6 months, something like that, just because you do randomly use things that you find that you're really not using much anymore. So those things, and along with like manipulatives, probably an every 3-month thing would be great. But I hope you enjoyed this and know that you can homeschool effectively from this little small cart. So Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.